On today's show, we will discuss how AI is impacting in global warming and how we can diminish or mitigate this impact. I'm Daniel,
I'm Matheus.
and this is the Human AI Experience. We'll be right back.
So, Danny, today I analyzed how AI is impacting the carbon footprint, or how AI is being a little bit unsustainable, like in terms of ecology, like in the last couple of years, and the projection of the next years. So we all know that AI requires a lot of energy to run, and to process this whole data that it generates, and it can lead to a large carbon footprint. And for example, since 2012, the AI models are doubling the computing power every 3 months, which is a quite impressive number. So every 3 months, it doubled the impact and the use of energy. And there's a calculation that says that data centers, they are actually using from 2.5 to 3.7% of the global greenhouse gas emissions, which means there is more than the aviation sector. So this is a big thing.
We all know that planes burn a lot of CO2, right? Or emit a lot of
Yeah.
CO2. So there has been a lot of effort from the aviation industry to reduce that and to try to come up with different types of fuel or biofuel and so on. But it's a hard nut to crack.
Yeah, and many people use trains to avoid like the impact of aviation, and the planes. So that's one way of trying to mitigate, like people trying to mitigate their impact.
Yeah, but trains also pollute, right? Like everything pollutes. We just need to.
Yeah,
There's more that needs to be done.
yeah, definitely.
But anyway, you continue.
Yeah, so to train an AI model, like it kind of emits like 300 tons of CO2, which is a lot. And for example, the GPT-3, it emits almost doubled, so 500 tons of CO2. And
So basically, it to train AI, it takes a lot of it consumes a lot of it not consumes like it emits a lot of CO2, but to use it is almost double than training. Is that correct?
yeah, exactly, which is quite impressive. So we are all generating a lot of CO2 because of AI. If you use ChatGPT or any other LLMs daily, you're being you have a contribution in the carbon emissions of these companies.
Reminds me of a chart that I've seen comparing also the use of energy from blockchain. So Bitcoin mining and Ethereum mining or Ethereum stacking nowadays. So a lot of blockchain use skyrocketed in the use of energy, right? There's a lot of servers for mining Bitcoin, and that's also producing a lot of energy. But
Yeah.
AI is basically increasing that consumption plus adding up, right? Because it's not like we're not doing blockchain anymore. We're basically stacking up things that are consuming a lot more energy.
Yeah, and they use a lot of AI too. There's a lot of intelligence on the machines to process this whole network from the blockchains and everything. So yeah, we definitely need to think about the alternatives of energy and other consumptions, and diminish or maybe improve the way that the machines work. So make it more powerful in terms of using less energy to process more data. So I think that's the challenge. And as we all know, like data centers, they consume a lot of energy. So for water cooling, especially, and for processing all the information. So by 27, AI may use the same energy as Netherlands. We're reaching a really concerned level of use of energy. So, and the projection for 2040 is that this industry will might be responsible for 14% of the the global emissions, of CO2. So that's a lot. The projections are not the best ones.
So it's going almost backwards as the whole Paris Agreement initiative, where all the countries got together to reduce emissions by 2030, right? Not increase them.
Yeah, that's a really challenging thing. I think they were really bold in terms of goals, by 2030. Um, Especially because politics are kind of they try to run a bit of their responsibility of diminishing. So there's always this balance that needs to be done, and which I can be cancelled for this.
Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
It's true.
And so,
But yeah,
yeah, you can.
and those agreements haven't, they were done prior to the AI boom, right? So it's even, that wasn't even been, that wasn't even taken into account. So that's even worse.
Yeah, that's a new industry, so probably people didn't count about that. But the thing is that it always depends on how you train the AIs. So, and then the companies are not, like, it's not clear what usages the companies are doing, like, so. But talking about emissions, like, it all depends on how you train the AIs. So if you have a powerful AI that, for example, the ChatGPT 4.0, I think it uses half of the energy. So they can process more data with less energy. So that's the way I think we should think about it. And nowadays, it's not clear how the companies are taking care of this energy, and the impact. So we need to create methods to understand and to see how they are being polluted, or how they are polluting more. And another impact that my now we are all, like, talking about how we can use AI to search on the web, like, so to switch Google. And what happens is that to use ChatGPT, for example, to search for something, it's it generates 20 times more CO2 than a simple Google search. So that's something that we need to consider in the new technologies and how we're gonna evolve.
Yeah, and it seems that we're going that way. With Google themselves already exploring with that, right? Like with Google AI search, and so I guess that's only going to increase. So that energy consumption and that CO2 emission is only going to get worse.
Yeah, I think it all passes through think about where is the energy coming from. For example, if you have a renewable energy coming from to feed the AI, that's the kind of the solution. And then use more technology and improve the algorithm to be more smart and efficient. So that's the measures, I think, that we can think to reduce the emissions. And the companies need to be more aware and worried about that.
So that's the solution recommended, but that's not an easy solution, right?
Yeah, especially about technology. I think it's if you think about the algorithm, of course they are always in trying to improve and do this, because if you improve the algorithm to use less energy, you're generating more money too. If you think about it, you're using less energy anyways, you are paying less, for energy. So it makes sense the companies are searching for methods to reduce, this kind of consumption.
Yeah, I mean, improve efficiency of using less computational power basically to demand less energy, right?
Yeah. So if AI run towards renewable energy, they can reduce the impact, for example, for between 30 and 40%, which is a really big impact. So if you reduce 30-40%, it will diminish a lot the carbon emissions. So I think that's the way we should follow. and there's already like regulations being formed, or they are creating standards for the use of AI and to like measure the energy, the water use, the waste, and the carbon footprint on these models. So I think all these regulations and this technology is being developed in the use of renewable energy. So about the solutions like that we mentioned, like to run renewable energy is one of them. Another one is the regulation, and I think we should think about the life cycle of all these technologies, and about the, for example, if we studied from the beginning of the life of the material. For example, when you extract, for example, sand from a place, and then you create the microchip until you discard it, until you the whole use, and then in the end of the life when you put it on the trash. These impacts are really big right now in the tech industry, and I think these kind of things we need to start rethinking. Like, how can we recycle these chips, or maybe how can we update them without needing to change those? Maybe that's the biggest challenge. I don't think that's possible actually, but that's another impact that is huge in this industry, because we're updating. I think it's the calculation is like from 6 to 6 months. It kind of doubles the computer power. So that's something that we another thing that we need to think. Like how we start and end the life of all these materials, and what is the impact for the environment.
Yeah, it's crazy because AI is basically adding more stress, right, to global energy consumptions and global metrics in a way to achieve more sustainability on a short, medium term.
Yeah. And just to recap, so what we have now is like a scenario where we use a lot of energy, and and from 3 to 3 months we were doubling the energy consumption since 2012. So it's a concerning issue, and I think more and more companies are using bots and AIs. So that's something that is increasing all over. And now we're seeing like companies training their own models. So they're using their own computational power, they're using more energy. So this is spreading all over. And as we mentioned, like, soon we will use the same amount of energy as a whole country as part of the solution. So what we are thinking, and we are like trying to discuss here, is like, if we use more renewable energies and be more conscious about the life cycle of the materials, how we use the water, the energy, and the waste generated by this technology, we can diminish this carbon footprint. And hopefully the companies have the same the same concern. Um, and I think that's how we wrap up here.
No, it was good to have this the perspective and the impact on sustainability
Yeah.
and think about because this is not going anywhere. It's only going to increase. So how can we already do something about it, right?
Yeah, and I think it's important to reflect about those issues, because they are impacting the world right now, and we are feeling already the impact of global warming and the weather changing. So I think regulating the usage and using more renewable energies, it can be like a really big step into sustainable development. And because this is a what we are reaching with AI, we're reaching new levels of development in the humanity. So why not include sustainability in this step? Why not be more conscious about how we use energy and all those technology components?
Definitely. Totally agree. So we reached the end of our episode. If you're interested in how AI is evolving and how you can introduce AI in your life and your work, subscribe to the podcast in your favorite podcast service and follow us for more. If you have any questions for us, you can reach out to us at hello@humanAIXP.com or connect with us on Instagram at humanAIXP. Thanks for listening. See you next week.